So I have Christy Little here. Welcome. And I'm going to let Christy tell us a little bit about who she is and what she does. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit.
Okay, I'm Christy Little. I'm a professional dancer and I also have a wellness mentoring company. And I'm based in Orlando, Florida. And so a little synopsis about me. About 5 years ago, my dance career was really going down the tube. My body was starting to break down and I was still in my 20s, so I was pretty young to be experiencing this. So I went through a lot of struggles, which led to a lot of anxiety and depression, and that just, was swirling around a lot in my life and brought me definitely down the wrong path. So I was having panic attacks frequently throughout each week, and it was just really hard to even get out of my own way. My body was just struggling so much that work was really inconsistent when I could be dancing. And unfortunately, that was at that point all I knew for work. That's how I knew how to make money. And I didn't think I needed a plan B yet in my 20s. So my career was going really great before that. So I didn't have the game plan yet because I didn't think I needed it anytime soon. So the financial stress of that also just weighed down on me. So every day mentally, I just could not get out of my own way. That went on for years. I kind of just I've described it as bobbing. I've just felt like I'm going nowhere. I had no direction. I was trying to think of a million different ways of maybe what else I could do. None of it seemed inspiring to me, and my heart really wanted to still be dancing. I know that this is not a forever career for us as dancers, but I was 27 when this started, and I just wasn't, I didn't want to stop. So One day it kind of just felt like I needed to get out of my own way and find a solution. Stop dwelling, stop being in my own head. And I found a nutritional solution that pretty much woke up my body and also woke up my mind.
I'm going to stop you for just a second.
Sure.
So I do want to hear about that. I know that's going to be like the highlight. People are going to want to know what you did to come back.
Yeah.
I want to back up a little bit because, not everybody experiences anxiety to the extent that I think that you did. I have mild, but I know people in my family it's actually crippling. And I don't know what you mean by panic attack. Could you explain a little bit like what that is like to have a panic attack? Because I know for people that I know that have this, it's pretty severe.
Yeah.
What did that look like for you?
Well, I think now, looking back, I would describe it as just being trapped in my own mind. Mm-hmm. It was always because I was looking into the future and always making up scenarios. So instead of, I just couldn't think logically, in all honesty. And it feels like you're drowning. It feels like you're drowning in your own thoughts, and they just grow and grow and grow, and everything just feels so heavy. And there's no logic anymore. Logic goes out the door, and everything is just like in SOS mode. Like everything is just like woo woo in your mind, and you can't pull yourself out of it. When you're in it, in the moment, you're trapped, just trapped. So it would just be crying hysterically, not being able to catch my breath usually it ended up, I was on the floor, and it was just minutes of suffocation, really, truly. And it was the result of me just looking into the future and making up scenarios so much that it just built up to explode, basically.
So did you just, I don't know if I made this up or if you said it was like this mental chatter. Was that your words?
Chatter? Yeah.
I mean, like consumed with just these floods of thoughts that you couldn't,
yes.
You didn't think you could control them.
No. I mean, honestly, since I was a child, my brain was just noisy, and I thought that that's the way it was. I never could focus on anything. I don't even know how, honestly, I don't know how I had a dance career, in all honesty. When I think about what my brain's been doing while I've actually been in motion,
Yeah.
it's amazing that the body's able to still do all that. Just thought after thought after thought. I couldn't focus on one thing for more than a few seconds, and I would go to the next and go to the next. I call it shiny object.
Yeah.
It's like everything, you pop. And I used to look at that as like, I'm really ambitious. I have a lot going on. I have a lot of thoughts. I'm really creative, but no.
It started plaguing you. It started getting to where it was.
Oh, yeah.
Life.
Yeah.
So were you able to turn that off when you were dancing? Is that you had this going on while you were focusing on your dancing?
Yeah. I mean, I could literally find somebody in an audience and say, oh gosh, oh no, I didn't know they were here. Oh God. And then get like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous that they're here.
Mm-hmm.
While I'm dancing. It's crazy. Or, I messed up something and I would just berate myself in my mind while the rest of the number was still going on. It's
amazing you have that kind of concentration.
Now I don't know how I lived that way.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you had decided to retire, and you were physically not well as emotionally. You were just really plagued with this anxiety, and so you had in your story you talk about how you had tried to you thought you had tried to resolve this, and it just didn't work for you. So then you came upon, you're talking about this focus of today. So I'll go ahead and let you lead into that. But how did you stop the chatter?
So I started meditating. I was very, very closed-minded to it up until that point. Because again, I was really hung up on this is the way I am and I can't help it. I'm a naturally anxious person. I can't stop my thoughts. I just can't do it. So I had been approached with the idea that meditation would be good for me, and I was super resistant to it because I thought I can't stop my thoughts. I can't. But it just, when you're at a low point, that's really when you decide that change is necessary. When you can't get out of your own way and you can't really get any lower, that's when you decide. So that was where I was at, is, my way wasn't working and it was getting worse. So meditation is something I started really slow. I started with guided meditation, so I didn't have to be the one in control. I could focus on a voice. Mm-hmm. And then that just made me curious to read more about that frame of mind and the more enlightened perspective, and looking at solutions from within instead of externally. And that really changed the game for me, is when I realized that everything that I need and every solution I need is in me. It is not external. And the external is what led me to have panic attacks every day. So that was, literally game changer, life changer, everything.
Okay. And so was that about the same time that you developed, or you found this nutrition program? Was it something you developed or found, or how did that work?
I actually had a friend who was using the nutrition, and I had tried pretty much everything else. I tried massage. I stayed on the physical end. I always ate healthy, so I didn't really think that was the problem. So I always was looking for physical solutions, and I was kind of at a last resort, and really all at the same time. I was at a place in my life where I was so tired of being where I was in every single sense and every aspect of my life. I was sick and tired of being this way. So it really opened my mind to everything. It opened my mind to my physical health, my spiritual health, my mental health, all of that. So they really did coincide and work parallel together.
So this worked pretty well, this nutrition program?
Yeah, so I needed cleaner nutrition. I needed better nutrients, more amino acids. I needed more clean protein. I wasn't having anywhere near enough protein. And I actually eliminated gluten and dairy from my diet in addition to that. And that honestly made a world of difference. And it was stuff that I didn't have an allergy or I didn't have any reaction specifically to food. But when I eliminated stuff and then flooded it with minerals and nutrients and so many things that my body wasn't getting, it just woke everything up. And more than I could have even imagined.
And that was before you returned to dancing. You kind of went through this transmit.
Yes. Yeah. So I was at a point where I said, all right, I'm ready to change something. My heart wants to go on stage so badly. And something in me, like so small inside me, was like trying to push its way up to the top saying like, you aren't done yet. You just haven't found what you needed to get yourself back. So from there, that made me say, oh my gosh, look at all the time I've wasted, number one, being negative and dwelling on stuff that actually had a solution. That fired me up to say, okay, what else can I open my mind to? Because, I've stayed in my little box of what I know is my truth, and none of it was even my truth. So it was like floodgates coming in of just letting myself receive what I really needed without judgment.
And you're dancing today? Are you still dancing?
I am. So actually, about 3 months after I found, meditation in my life and I found this supplemental nutrition, my husband and I decided to move across the country to a better area for entertainment and better for his work as well. So we moved to Orlando, and I just closed a show 2 weeks ago in Orlando, and I'm back
amazing.
on stage. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So again, these experiences made us, because my husband's kind of been going through the same exploration as I have. It's been really amazing to do it together. We just said, you know what, it's time. We're feeling stagnant. So it's not crazy to move across the country because the way we're feeling right now is crazy. So we need to do something different.
So you shook it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's what we said is like, and I'm all about energy now. And if energy's stale, you got to get it moving and do something else. So we really got it moving.
Yeah, I thought it was fascinating too that you talked about, because you had this before, you had this mental chatter and you were just like plagued with, you were just trying to run away from the uncomfortable. You just constantly felt uncomfortable. And then there was a point, and you could probably say it better, but basically you have embraced being uncomfortable. That you and your husband have realized that this is actually a good thing to feel uncomfortable. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think it sounds kind of counterintuitive, right?
Totally. And it's so funny because now I say that to people, and before I keep going, I always see like a little furrow of a brow of like, you were too comfortable, so you had to do something. Like, what's wrong with being comfortable? Yeah. So I've just come to realize that without getting uncomfortable, you're not going to get to any next level. Comfort is a fantastic thing. But when you sit there for too long, you might let your life pass you by, kind of. That's how I view it anyway now. So with the discomfort comes a lot of growth. And anybody that's been very successful has always had moments where they have that pit in their stomach where they don't know if they're doing the right thing, but you got to follow your heart. So for me now, following that like fire I have in me, even if I don't know what the result is, but I feel it and it feels right, I'm going to go for it.
It sounds like you guys have a really supportive relationship too. It sounds like you both are in it together. So that's
he's really amazing, and it's kind of funny. Both of our growths really haven't been encouraged by either one of us. It's just kind of been the evolution together, and now we're feeding off of each other to get to the next level, and it's really, really cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
What is next for you? Tell me about what's next.
Oh, what's next? Well, something that I think has just come with my new posture is the thought of how appealing it is to be involved in contribution, and in a way that I never really saw myself. I always saw myself as a creative person, and I never really had a viewpoint of being a businesswoman or being somebody in a position where people would actually come to me for guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's been like really amazing to come into with this energy, is that I have the confidence to know that I have things to contribute to people, and I have ways of helping people that aren't just entertaining them by being on stage. And so I'm really focused on expanding my business, and my goal is just to really help people find their physical optimal health and physical freedom, but also help them see what an open mind could bring to them, and help them to dream a little bit more again. Because I feel like so many people don't believe that they can dream about what they really want for their life. They're stuck in the I have to do this, and I'm really excited to encourage people to change that perspective.
Nice. So it's really your work is working with their mind and their body together, it sounds like.
Yeah, because I really think that's important. That's something that I never focused on. I mean, even when I was healthy as a dancer, I still had mental health that was not healthy. So now I look at it as, I don't feel like I ever was healthy before, because I always had terrible things. So I like to call the ego, which is that little voice that talks to you, and not always in the nice way. I like to call her my mean girl, my inner mean girl.
It's not funny.
She's mean, like mine's mean. And so, even when I was physically healthy, I had that mean girl that was just, would weigh down my energy. And I think it's really important for everybody to focus on both, because without it, you could look your best ever, but if you have that mean girl still weighing you down with self-doubt or negative self-image talk, you're not at your happiest, and you can't be your best self that way.
It's well said. It's really well said. So, just to wrap it up. So I know you have a free gift for us. So you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah. So for this, I'm going recipe and meal based, because I really, really am enjoying the gluten-free, dairy-free lifestyle. I have a mindful meals PDF, just a week's worth of meals that are gluten and dairy free. But the reason I want to share this is to show everybody how similar meals that you already enjoy can be with this lifestyle. And for me, I feel better. I have more energy. Now when I eat meals, I don't feel like I need a nap anymore. And I mean, some of them are still pasta dishes. So it's just been a way of life that, again, I never thought I needed to do, but I'm really glad that I was open to doing it, because I feel so much better. My body's working much better with this.
I want to try that out. So it's actually not, am I getting it right? It's not that difficult to cut out gluten and...
No. I mean,
I would think that'd be really, and I'm the one that does the nap after. So I'm very interested in that. So it's not that difficult to do.
No. And I was curious about it. I said, all right, I'll try for 30 days and see if this is like, I need my cheese and I need my whatever, my bread, and if it would be that difficult. And the more I looked at it, you have to look in maybe different areas of the grocery store than you might be used to. But as far as gluten-free, they're all the bread, wraps, pastas, I mean, pancakes, like almost anything that you would say, oh my gosh, how could I live without? There's a gluten-free option now.
Yeah, we did that. We did a gluten-free pasta last night. It was quinoa and brown rice that they'd made into pasta. It was actually really delicious. So
yeah, they have those. They have bean-based pastas I really like, or brown rice pastas, like you said. So they're really, companies have gotten really creative with the gluten-free options, and I most of the time I believe that if you didn't tell somebody it was gluten-free and just fed it to them, they wouldn't know. Yeah. Dairy, the texture may be a little bit different than cheese that you might enjoy, but they have shredded options, and once it's melted, it tastes like cheese.
Oh, okay.
My husband was a cheese fanatic, and he even is dairy free and eats
Wow.
this cheese. So for us, it's been a great transition, and we both like to figure out, because we're such foodies too, what our favorite meals, how we can twist it and make it feel like it's our regular favorite meal, but it feels so much lighter. So it's actually very easy now.
Well, good. That sounds neat. So that'll be in the bio. There'll be some kind of a link or something that people can find or click or whatever. And is there anything else that we missed that I did not say, or that you'd like to say to people? Maybe somebody that's struggling?
Yeah. So, well, as far as the anxiety and panic attacks, I would just say that I know when you're in it, it feels like you can't escape and you can't control it, but you are 100% in control of your mind. Something I really, really loved is a quote that said, if you're living in the past, if you're depressed, you're living in the past.
Mm-hmm.
If you're anxious, you're living in the future. And if you're calm and at peace, you're in the present moment. So what was the easiest, I think, for me to start retraining my brain was to acknowledge that. Was I feeling depressed? And then I could stop and think, well, what am I thinking about? Thinking about something 2 years ago. Why am I thinking about that right now? Or I would get anxious, or, my stomach would I have physical reactions to my anxiety. So, I'd get a stomach ache or a headache, and I would say, why am I feeling like this? Well, because I'm thinking about retirement, and why am I doing that? So that was the first step for me, was to actually be able to see it. I used to be so in my thoughts, I didn't even realize I was that far in the future, and stopping and acknowledging that, and then going, okay, well, what's happening right now? I'm sitting here at a computer in an interview. Okay, I'm in the present moment. And that helped. That and the meditation was how I started. And it's not easy at first. It's not going to feel like you can do it at first. This is conditioning a muscle, just like any other physical muscle. Our brain is so used to being used the way it's been used for however long we've been treating it. That's how it's conditioned to work. So you just have to keep working on it and know that it's so worth it, because a year ago, I couldn't have even done this interview. I really could. I would have been sick to my stomach and not been able to talk. So it is so worth putting in the work, because you get your life back.
Wow, that's really, really well said. And so basically just really retraining your brain to be in the moment, and then also to be paying attention to those narratives that are running through your head and actually taking control over that. So nope, I'm not going to do making choices, I guess.
Yeah. And now when that happens, because it's natural, it is going to happen. I'm not going to say you're going to come, to this enlightened place and nothing bad is ever going to happen, or that mean girl goes away. She doesn't go away. You just quiet it down a little bit. So when that happens, now I can say, in the moment of it building up, I can go exactly like what you just said. No, this doesn't serve me. Yeah, hit the road, and it goes away. So, we just have to acknowledge that it will always be there, but we can control it.
Well, I appreciate that last little bit. I think that was really a jewel there. So thank you so much. Thank you for being here. This was really fun. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.